My sister hijacked my graduation party mic and humiliated me with lies. Months later, she was dragged from court in handcuffs, screaming my name. At my graduation party, my sister took the microphone and told a room full of 50 people that I cheated my way through college. She said I paid someone to write my thesis. She said I slept with a professor for a grade. None of it was true. 8 months later, she was dragged out of a courtroom in handcuffs, screaming my name after I sued her for defamation and won. My sister's name is Celeste. She's 2 years older. She dropped out of community college after 1 semester and has resented my education ever since. When I got into a 4-year university on a partial scholarship, she told our parents I was wasting their money. When I made the dean's list, she said the standards must be low. When I graduated with honors in biochemistry, she couldn't handle it. Mom and dad threw me a graduation party at their house. Backyard setup, 50 people, a DJ who doubled as an MC. There was a small stage area with a microphone for toasts. Dad gave a speech. Mom cried. My best friend Nina said beautiful things about our 4 years together. Then Celeste walked up to the microphone. Nobody stopped her. She was my sister. People assumed she was there to say something kind. She held the mic with both hands and smiled. I just want to say something real about my little sister. Everyone here is so proud of her degree, but I think you should know how she got it. The music stopped. People turned to look. She paid someone to write her senior thesis. I saw the emails, and she got her grade in organic chemistry by sleeping with her professor. Everyone in the department knew about it. I just think if we're going to celebrate, we should celebrate the truth. She put the microphone down and walked off the stage. The yard was silent. 50 people staring at me. My mom had her hand over her mouth. Dad was frozen. Nina was the first one to move. She stood up and said, loud enough for everyone, that's a lie. I was in every study group with her for 4 years. She earned every grade she got, but the damage was done. People were whispering. Some left early. My aunt pulled mom aside and asked if it was true. My cousin texted his wife about it from the party. By the next morning, the story had spread to extended family in 3 states. I spent the first week in shock. The second week, I was angry. The third week, I called a lawyer. Her name was Denise. She specialized in defamation. I told her everything. She asked me one question. Do you have witnesses? I had 50. Denise filed a defamation lawsuit. The claim was straightforward. Celeste had made false statements of fact, publicly, to a room of people, with the intent to damage my reputation. She accused me of academic fraud and sexual misconduct. Both claims were provably false. My thesis advisor provided a sworn statement that my work was entirely my own, including revision logs, meeting notes, and plagiarism reports. My organic chemistry professor, a 62-year-old married woman named Dr. Albright, submitted a statement confirming that the accusation was fabricated and that she'd never had a personal relationship with any student. The university provided my full academic record, every grade, every evaluation, every honor earned on merit. Celeste didn't hire a lawyer at first. She told the family I was being ridiculous and that the lawsuit would get thrown out. She told mom I was tearing the family apart. Mom called me. Can't you just let it go? She told 50 people I committed academic fraud and slept with a professor. That's a crime in some states. No, I can't let it go. She's your sister. She's a liar who tried to destroy my reputation at my own graduation party. The fact that she's my sister makes it worse, not better. Celeste eventually hired a lawyer 2 weeks before the trial. Her defense was that she was expressing an opinion and that she believed it to be true. Denise dismantled that in 20 minutes. Opinions are protected. Specific factual claims are not. Saying, I think my sister's degree is questionable, is an opinion. Saying, she paid someone to write her thesis and slept with her professor is a statement of fact, and it was false. The judge ruled in my favor. Celeste was ordered to pay $42,000 in damages, covering emotional distress, therapy costs, and reputational harm. She was also ordered to issue a written retraction to every family member who attended the party. When the judge read the amount, Celeste stood up and started screaming. This is insane! She's my sister! I was telling the truth! The judge told her to sit down. She didn't. She turned to me and yelled, you're going to regret this! You think a piece of paper makes you better than me? You're nothing! The bailiff approached her. She pulled her arm away. Don't touch me! 2 officers escorted her out of the courtroom in handcuffs. She was screaming my name as the doors closed. She was held for contempt and released the next morning. The written retraction arrived in family mailboxes 2 weeks later. It was 1 paragraph, clearly written by her lawyer, stating that the claims made at the graduation party were false and that she retracted them in full. Dad called me after he received it. He said, I should have stopped her at the microphone. You should have. I didn't know what she was going to say. Nobody stops her, Dad. That's the problem. Nobody ever has. Celeste still owes me the $42,000. She's made 2 payments so far. The retraction letter is framed in my office at work, not because I'm proud of what happened in that courtroom, because I'm proud of the degree she tried to take from me. It's real. It always was. And now that's in writing too. My husband's best man insulted me during his speech, so I took the mic and exposed a secret that made his fiancée leave him on the spot. My husband's best man called me naive in front of 180 guests during his wedding speech. He said I only loved my husband because he was my first. So I took the mic and said something that made his fiancée throw her ring at him and walk out. I met my husband Kevin when I was 19. He was 21. We were each other's first everything. People always made comments about it. Some said it like a compliment. Others said it like a warning. Kevin's best friend since childhood was Troy. They grew up on the same block, played baseball together, went to the same college. Troy was the loud one. Always had a story, always had to be the center of attention. When Kevin and I started dating, Troy made it clear he thought I was temporary. He'd say things like, enjoy it while it lasts, or Kevin needs to experience life before he settles down. He told Kevin once, right in front of me, that marrying your first girlfriend was like buying the first car you test drive. I laughed it off because Kevin always shut him down, but Troy never stopped. When Kevin proposed after 4 years together, Troy's reaction was, already? We'd been together longer than most of Troy's relationships combined. Troy had a fiancée named Leah. They'd been together about a year. She was quiet and kind, worked as a kindergarten teacher. I liked her. She softened Troy a little. Kevin asked Troy to be his best man. I didn't love the idea, but it wasn't my call. Troy said yes, like he'd been waiting for it. The wedding was in October. Small venue, outdoor ceremony, reception in a barn we decorated ourselves. My mom made the centerpieces. Kevin's dad built the arch. The ceremony was beautiful. I cried. Kevin cried. At the reception, everything was going perfectly. Dinner was great. People were dancing. Then came the speeches. My maid of honor went first. Short and sweet. Talked about how Kevin and I balanced each other out. People smiled. Then Troy stood up. He grabbed the mic and grinned. He started fine. Talked about growing up with Kevin, funny stories from college, the usual. People laughed. Kevin was smiling. Then Troy's tone shifted. He looked at me and said, now I have to be honest. I've known Kevin his whole life, and I always told him he should see what else is out there before locking it down. He paused for effect. The thing about marrying your first girlfriend is you don't know what you're missing. She doesn't either. She thinks this is love because she has nothing to compare it to. That's not love. That's comfort. The room got uncomfortable. Kevin's smile dropped. Troy kept going. I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm saying she's naive. She fell for the first guy who paid attention to her and decided that was enough. Kevin deserves someone who chose him after seeing all the options, not someone who picked him because she didn't know there were other options. Dead silence. My mom's mouth was open. Kevin stood up and said, Troy, that's enough, but Troy waved him off. I'm almost done. I just think it's important to be honest at weddings instead of pretending everything's perfect. To the bride, I hope you figure out what real love looks like someday. He raised his glass. Nobody drank. Kevin reached for the mic, but I got there first. I stood up, took it from Troy's hand, and looked at him. He smirked at me like I was about to cry or stutter or run away. Instead, I said, you want honesty at weddings? Okay. I turned to the room. Troy thinks I'm naive because Kevin was my first boyfriend. That's fine. But let me tell you what I do know. I looked at Troy. I know that 6 months ago, Kevin told me something in confidence. confidence. Something Troy told him because they're best friends and Troy was scared and needed support. Troy's face changed. I kept going. Troy called Kevin crying because he'd just gotten test results back. He tested positive for HIV. He made Kevin swear not to tell anyone. Kevin told me because that's what married couples do. We don't keep secrets from each other. That's what real love looks like, Troy. The room went dead. Troy was white. He looked at Leah, who was sitting 2 tables away. Her face was frozen. Then it cracked. She whispered, "What?" Troy stammered. "Leah, I was going to tell you." "When? After the wedding? After you got married?" She stared at him. "Were you ever going to tell me?" He didn't answer fast enough. Leah stood up, pulled the engagement ring off her finger, and threw it at him. It bounced off his chest and hit the floor. She walked out without another word. Her sister grabbed her purse and followed her. Troy turned to me. "You had no right." I leaned into the mic. "And you had no right to stand in front of my family and call me naive on my wedding day." I handed the mic back to the DJ and sat down. Kevin grabbed my hand under the table and squeezed it hard. His mom leaned over and said, "I never liked him." The rest of the night went on without Troy. He left 10 minutes later. Nobody stopped him. The DJ played our first dance song and Kevin held me close and whispered, "I'm sorry I ever made him best man." We danced. People clapped. Troy texted Kevin, the next day calling me every name in the book. Kevin blocked him. Leah called me a week later. She said thank you. She said she'd had no idea. She said she'd been sleeping with him for months without knowing. She got tested. She's fine. Troy and Kevin haven't spoken since. I don't feel guilty. He stood at my wedding and tried to humiliate me in front of everyone I love. I just returned the favor with the truth.